Welcome back again, and this time we'll take the USDX HF transceiver and the FT8TW app a little further, and we'll expand it onto looking at a Windows application to help you see how well you are communicating or how well you are receiving and as well transmitting. So we've already talked about setting up the USDX radio, and just as a recap, if you want to get the common frequencies that are typically used by those using this mode, this FT8 mode, remember you can, by double clicking on this frequency dial, you can change the frequencies at which you are operating. And I mentioned in the last discussion about the radio that some common ones are 7074 is common in the late afternoon and evening, and then let me double click to get to 14074 typically is good in the morning and most of the day, and then 21074 would be good midday to early afternoon. And that's just kind of the way the atmosphere works in terms of the radio propagation. So it's let's go to 14074. Alright, so we're going to be receiving on that frequency. I talked about the setup of the FT8TW app, and one of the things we want to do to start off with, we want to make sure that we've got our location and our call sign set correctly. So you would go to settings, and to start off with, at the top we put in a call sign of XXXX because basically we're just receiving now, we're not transmitting. If you do transmit, you'd have to put your call sign and actually have a license, general class license at a minimum, to be able to transmit these FT8 signals. And I mentioned about the grid square. By simply pushing on the question mark, it's going to automatically set the grid square for you, and my grid square is showing up there on the screen right now. The only other thing that's really important on the settings for us right now is to put this on VOX. None of the other modes are really going to be set up right now to be used, so we don't have to worry about those. So put that on VOX and you're good to go. Other thing is, we look at our selections at the bottom. We have a decode button, calling button, spectrum button, QSO logs, and the settings. We just did the settings. Let's go to the spectrum. The spectrum will show you what is being received by the app. So let's take a look back here. So right now the app is receiving some signals coming from the speaker. Now you can barely hear the speaker, but let me go ahead and increase the volume. So remember, click the menu button, see if you're already on volume. If not, you'd have to change it there. But here, I'll make it a little bit louder. I'll make it +9, and then go back. So I can now see the signal in the different frequencies that are shifting, which is the digital signal. Now I see like 1, 2, 3 digital signals have appeared on the phone here. There they are with their call signs. So this particular selection aids you in knowing whether or not is the phone receiving anything. if it's receiving anything, you'll see some blue in there with some speckles. And if it's really decoding, you can actually see the signals from these different stations that are listed on this what's called a waterfall display. So there's several stations right there that have been detected and decoded. Very good. Now, when we started the app, and I'm going to stop the app, get out of it, and I'm going to restart it. I want you to observe what will happen as it starts up. It's going to synchronize with the GPS. So now it's got a clock. It's got a good clock signal and a location. And then as things continue here, notice it says Start PSK Report. It will automatically start up a report that will report to a website to help you track where these stations are located. So I'm going to go over to my Windows computer. You could do this on the phone, but it's easier to see on the laptop. So this app is actually showing stations that I have received that I reported back to PSKreporter. To get to this particular website, show you what the address is. Here's the address. So you would put in there PSKreporter info. Let's see, PSKreporter.info/pskmap.html, and you will get this map on your laptop, computer, or whatever, and it will show stations that you have received. Now, the large item here, that's my receiver right here, and it will actually tell me if I hover over a particular icon. It'll tell me what station received it. Likewise, if I want to see who sent the signal, I can go and hover over that or click it, whichever the case may be, and I will see where that signal came from, who sent it. There's the call letters. Looks like it's like an NR0K, which is in Missouri. There's a grid locator, a Maidenhead locator, telling what frequency and some other information about that station. So on this map right now, we're seeing that there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 stations that I've received, that I have received and reported to the PSKreporter. If I want to update it, I just can hit the go button and update it. Some important things to set up as well when you operate this app. So we're going to pick all bands and show we want signals that were either sent or received by a particular call sign. So right now I've put my phone as receiver XXXX, and then I've actually set up the what I'm trying to receive, what type of format, FT8, over the last 15 minutes. And once again, I put in there XXXX as my station ID. If you were transmitting, you'd need to have a general class ham license, and you'd put your call letters in there. But for this application, since you're just receiving, you're just going to make sure that when you report to this PSKreporter app, that you put something in there that you can identify. So that's what's appearing up on here. There's some other things you may need to set up with on this PSKreporter app. And it's right up here, display options, because there may be some things you do not want to see. So I click display options, and let's take a look at some of these. Okay, I've asked it to hide faint markers Let me back off of the video. Hide monitors if no reports. Hide the pink blob. Hide the night shadow. The shadow time and spot. Don't need to worry about that. Hide city lights. Now, you may want to show the night shadow, because what that does, by unclicking it, it allows the shadow between daylight and nighttime to appear on your screen. So let's check this out. There's the difference between light and dark. Now I can increase or decrease the size of the screen either with the thumb wheel of the mouse or this plus minus indicator. I'm going to use the mouse. As you'll see here, you can tell where the band of sunlight and the band of nighttime is located. Why is that important? Well, it turns out that when you get the transition between day and night, or even night and day, you may experience very good signal propagation. So you'll notice as you get closer to sunset, or if you're near sunrise, that you may see more, you may be able to receive and transmit to more stations and at a further distance as well. So keep that in mind when you're using this PSKreporter app that's on your computer. Now, a few more features that I want to point out on the phone. So we've done decode, and you can see the stations. Calling is used if I'm actually going to send a message. There's a sequence that is done when you transmit, and I'll cover that in a different video. But there's a sequence that follows, which is a communication exchange between your station and a station to whom you want to communicate with, or another station might see your CQ call, which is a general call, meaning I'm here, if anybody wants to talk to me, come on and talk. So that'll be important on the next video, because I'll show what each of this sequence information really means. And here's the sequence information right there, of the sequence that will take place. Spectrum is pretty good, because spectrum, we started out earlier with that, will show you whether or not you're receiving good signals. Last thing I want to show is this global icon. What that does, and I can move this around with my finger, is that'll actually show you graphically on a map who's communicating with whom and which way is it going, who's transmitting to another station. Here we go. We see this station here is trying to reach someone down, I guess in the lower Bahamas, perhaps. So, and if this communication were successful, that the station in the Bahamas would want to talk back, you'd see the green icon move the other direction. But in this case, it's just merely trying to call. The other thing to notice about the app is at the top of the screen, you might see, and I'm not quite sure if it's going to appear on here, a progress bar. A very thin bar at the very top. That shows you the progress between 15-second communications periods. So the communication takes 15 seconds. Alright, this might do for now, and I appreciate you joining to watch this, and be on the lookout for the next video. Thank you.